Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about mind control in science fiction. What is mind control? Mind control refers to the invasion and manipulation of someone's beliefs and behaviors. It's always forceful. This process is almost always supernatural as well because it is not natural to control somebody and their physical behaviors. Mind control can be used in science fiction through ideas of government brainwashing techniques or subliminal messages. How does it work? Controlling one's emotional responses is very common in mind control. It could work by using machine learning to understand complex patterns of activity in a person's brain when they think of something specific. When sci-fi first began, mind control was about controlling one's behaviors and physical responses. Now it's people doing it to others and controlling their minds and emotions. It first began as a control of the body control, and then it became mind control. What are the different types of mind control? Brainwashing, manipulation, hypnotism, paranoia, and altered state and/or drugs. Mind control in science fiction. It's mainly seen in fantasy stories since it's sometimes introduced by some kind of magic or fictional technology. However, it also works through government brainwashing techniques or different subliminal messages. It can be seen in many different sources of media, such as The Manchurian Candidate and the IP Crest. In The Manchurian Candidate, there is a CIA highly secret program of experiments in mind control. It is about an assassin brainwashed and programmed to kill. The IP Crest talks about exploring the interconnections between mind control, mind science, and media. It exemplifies the innovation for depicting brainwashing on screen in the 1960s. Losing control in one's free will. When one's freedom is taken control of and they are forced to submit to the will of another individual or group, it can cause a lot of issues for this person that's being affected, mainly because they are not conscious or aware of what is happening to them. It can alter their ideals and their physical behaviors. Mind control fiction is popular because it explores the common human fear of simply losing one's freedom. What is brainwashing? It's known as the classic military method that originated in the Korean War, where prisoners in Korea first suffered severe physical and psychological stress. Many methods combined over a period of time led to the conversion of prisoners to believe in communism. This led to brainwashing, which is simply the process of pressuring someone into adopting radically different beliefs and changing their ideals by using systematic and often forcible means. Brainwashing in science fiction. It's normally caused either with a machine, the use of magic from one's abilities, or the basic stereotypical brainwashing method. In these books, it's easy to see the character developing into the person the brainwasher wants them to be, which is someone who is not conscious or aware of their physical behaviors and changes their ideals. They begin to lose sense of themselves, transitioning into this brainwashed character and being programmed to do things that their brainwasher wants them to do. Subliminal messages in media. They are used to enhance the persuasiveness of something, such as embedding a message in a song or words and images briefly flashing in between frames of film. In 1984, there was a lot of media propaganda used to brainwash people. These messages have impacts on people's thoughts and behaviors and can change a person's current mood, boost their motivation, and even change their political attitudes. Devices used to manipulate the brain. An example is called the Next Mind device, which is similar to an EEG and records electrical activity in the brain. This relates to the movie Total Recall because they put him in a machine that creates a false narrative in his mind so he does not know what reality is real. Another example of a device used to manipulate the brain is a neural implant created in South Korea by researchers from the School of Electrical Engineering at KAIST. A literary example of brainwashing is a story written by Anthony Burgess titled A Clockwork Orange. In this book, Alex is chosen to undergo an experimental program called the Ludovico's Technique. It's a brutal form of aversion therapy that includes him watching films of Nazi atrocities. This causes him to become physically sick if he even thinks about committing a crime and results in him disliking classical music. What are the ethics behind mind control? It varies depending on the situation because if they are consented to with the person, knowing what will happen to them, then it is allowed. However, if it was not consented to and the person did not give their approval to being mind controlled, it is unethical because they are being forced to do something that they don't want to do. For example, one of the characters in the first Matrix sells out the group because he wants the machines to plug him back into the Matrix because he would rather live in an artificial reality than in a crappy reality. This is consented mind control, meaning it is ethical. Why is it ethical in certain situations? Not all mind control techniques can be used to harm or can be used in a negative way. For example, in the movie The Eternals, it gives you the impression that humans are happier when their minds can be controlled, and it turns out to be an even better way of improving humanity by creating a unimind. They have everybody living in a utopia, controlling their beliefs and what they like. It raises the question of the ethicality of mind control. Are we willing to sacrifice our freedom for the sake of a utopian world?
Manipulation and gaslighting. Manipulation in real-life scenarios is the practice of using indirect tactics to control behavior, emotions, and relationships. The user can manipulate a form of fiction that deals principally with the impact of actual or imagined science upon society or individuals. With this ability, the user can defy the laws of nature. Gaslighting is a method of maintaining power by manipulating others' perceptions and sense of reality. Mind manipulation in science fiction can be used to manipulate the past, present, and/or future times surrounding a person, object, or form of reality in any way they seem fit. Gaslighting in science fiction can be used to question social power and can even be empowering if the people being gaslighted are able to find ways to resist. Gaslighting in science fiction is about disrupting reality, so you never know what's real and what's not. The movie The Truman Show is a great example of manipulation in science fiction. The media producer of the show, Christoph, manipulates the protagonist into thinking he is living in a talk show. The audience of the show continuously watch and wait to see the next step in Truman's life, not fazed by the fact that they are partly manipulating him as the audience. Hypnosis in real-life scenarios is also referred to as hypnotherapy and is a trance-like state where you have heightened focus and concentration. Hypnosis is another technique used to control minds for short periods of time. Hypnosis is usually done with the help of a therapist using verbal repetition and mental images to treat anxiety, phobias, substance abuse, and bad habits. It has also helped to improve sleep, learning disorders, communication, and relationship issues. Hypnosis in science fiction is a special psychological state with certain physiological attributes resembling sleep and marked by a functioning of the individual at a level of awareness other than the ordinary conscious state. In science fiction, hypnosis can be used to manipulate someone to do something against their own will. Hypnosis can be caused by magical fantasy characteristics or basic machinery. One example of hypnotism in science fiction is the movie Dracula. Dracula hypnotizes his victims into letting him attack them. Another literary example of hypnotism in science fiction is the novel The Exorcist, written by William Peter Blatty. Paranoia is a mental condition of the irrational and persistent feeling that people are going to kidnap you, or the feeling of everyone staring at you or talking about you. Paranoia can make you believe the government or anyone is spying on or following you. It is a feeling of unease. A person with paranoia is reluctant to confide personal information in others, thinking it'll be used against them. They easily hold grudges and take criticism in a negative way. Paranoia is what develops because of brainwashing and mind control. Paranoia in science fiction can be caused by manipulation, drugs, hypnosis, brainwashing, mental illnesses such as schizophrenia, and more. In science fiction, it will be shown by the character beginning to hallucinate things that aren't there and beginning to be paranoid that everything the government or anyone says is true. The Matrix is an interesting movie created by the Wachowski sisters and is a perfect example of paranoia. When Neo comes out of the Matrix and then goes back, he is confused if he is in the Matrix or not because they're making him believe everything is real, but he knows it's not, and it's making him go insane. Altered state and drugs. Drugs are used in a way that alter the character's state and mindset to make them think things that aren't true. Either being side effects of not taking medication or withdrawal from drugs and getting hallucinations. Side effects of taking medications or taking too much drugs include getting hallucinations. Drugs cause an altered state of mind in not knowing what is really going on. These are all a few literary examples of altered state and drugs. In conclusion, mind control is a topic that can be classified by many different subtopics. Mind control is very much used in a lot of science fiction and is normally based on controlling one's emotions and changing them to how you want them to be. Brainwashing and mind control is often seen through a user being changed on a mental level, using either magic, technology, or just old tricks known in the fantasy realm. Gaslighting can be seen in science fiction as a way to question a social power or change a person's view of things. It causes a certain character development in the character being gaslighted. Hypnosis can be used to change someone's beliefs to do something against their will. Paranoia can be seen in science fiction by showing a character beginning to question and lose control of their mental state due to doubt in the government or the reality they live in. Mind control is a very important role in science fiction that can add a lot of depth and introduce really interesting new plots into a storyline or movie. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned some more about mind control in science fiction.